Hey Kate, I just took my lunch break and I transcribed your song here. It's a fun tune. I wanted to just kind of go through everything that I'm hearing. To get started, the opening is just eighth notes. Now the difference here is this is shuffled eighth notes rather than straight eighth notes. So straight eighth notes would be one and two and three and four. And the shuffle is more like one, a two, a three, a four. It's one, a two, a three, a four, a one, a two, a three, a four. That's kind of the difference there. So you said the strumming pattern was kind of getting you off. Like, yeah, because it's not straight eighths. So it's notated like triplets, where you're not playing the middle triplet, you're playing the first triplet and the third triplet, and you're not doing anything over the middle one. Just winds up sounding like the blues shuffle. It's like one, a two, a three, a four. So what I'm doing here is I have my tone like all the way turned to like the bassy side, a little bit of gain, because it's a pretty meaty sound, and the opening is literally just the open string. It's a big hit on a down strum, another hit on an up strum, and then you're going to mute the rest of the measure. So it's like one and two and three and four and one and then you start muting. One and two and three and four and five and six and seven and eight. At the end of two measures, I'm going to hit an up strum on my open E string and probably catch the B and the G. So it's going to, in the right hand, it's going to look like, let's see if I can catch this. So there's unpalm muted, there's palm muted, so it's like. So that's kind of the deal. It's two measures of eighth notes, and then you're just hitting open strings on the upbeat. There's a little opening line here. Hopefully my sound is coming through. And some weird crackly sounds here. I don't know what's causing that. But there's this little it's definitely a note being bent to a D. Ideally, I would do it up here on the G string D, and I'm just kind of like bend it, return it, and then pull off, and then pull off, and then released. So it's going to wind up being like a bend at a 7, and then a release to a 7, and then a pull off to a 6, and then like a pull off to a 5, and then a quickly pull off to the open. That's how I would do it. I notated it in Guitar Pro as something different because I think that's actually what I'm hearing. It sounds like tonally it's on the B string. Now this is just me being me and like having to be precise about it. Like it sounds like the twang, like the bite of the B string. So I have it notated like this. So I'm bending that D, and you're probably not going to want to do that on an acoustic guitar, so make sure you got an electric. So it's bend, release, to a pull off at the 2, to the pull off at the 0, and then on my way, after I release it, I'm plucking the G string all by itself. All right, so I'm hitting that last note with an upstroke of my pick. So there's only 2 picks. It's a down pick, then a bend, then a release, then a pull off to 2, then a pull off to 0, and then an up pick on the next G string. So from here on out, I'm just going to show you the tab, and I'm going to send you the guitar profile that you can kind of like play around with it, hit the play button, whatever. So here is what I'm talking about. It's like we have this bend here. I'm pretty sure it's coming in on the upbeat of 2. So I tried my best to notate where these little guitar fills are coming in. So here's what I got in Guitar Pro. Man, my computer is not liking that. Sorry, Kate. So here's da 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 da. So you can hit the play button. You'll figure it out on your own. There's the little opening. I'm doing that just as single notes, and then once the vocals kick in, I'm going to turn that into power chords. So it's the same rhythm throughout. I did notate very specifically, like if you zoom in here, it's an accent on the first eighth note, regular picked note on the upbeat, and then from then on, and it's palm muted until we let go of the palm mute, and then I'm going to hit that on an upstroke. So that's the main jive. It's constantly down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, just to a shuffle eighth instead. So make sure that you can just shuffle on the E string without worrying about palm mutes and anything else. Just okay. And let's see what else we got here. The verse is very similar to the intro. It's just alternating back and forth between an E5 and a G5. So we got, so it kind of works out really nice because you're letting go of the palm mute to hit these open strings, and then like as you transition the chord, your palm is like still off of the guitar, and then it just goes back down. So it actually works out like, don't overthink it. You're letting go of the palm mute to play that, and then like you're leaving it off as you set up like one or two hits of the new chord, whether it's E or the G, and then you're putting it back on. And then you let go at the end right before you switch chords, and then you put it back on after you're on the new chord. Then we have what I notated here in the second verse. There's this little guitar fill that happens. I did all the guitar fills, there's only two of them, on this second line. I think there's a third one. I didn't get it. I didn't do that one, only because of notating how it would land. I just didn't get into it. It's pretty much the same thing. So here's like this second guitar fill is like, it's real simple. We're just letting those notes ring out. The chorus, real straightforward. Like, it's hard to hear if it's like power chords or full chords. Like, there's times where I think I'm hearing a complete like C major harmony and like an A and a B harmony, and there's other times like it's deceptive. So I just wrote it in as just like kind of barring my way across A string chords where I'm just using 3 fingers. So the chorus is just stepping back and playing quarter notes like A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G. Now that G I am doing as a power chord. I don't think I hear that B on top there. Here is probably a full major chord to give us that kind of tasty, that bitiness of the B major chord. And then here, it kind of sounds like someone, like maybe the bass guitar is actually playing an open E, but all I'm really hearing is the guitar kind of like on the downbeat and upbeat of 1, muting thicker strings, and then on the down and the upbeat of 2, hitting the thinner strings. So just kind of, don't overthink this either, but it's kind of like, so you're kind of doing like 8th notes, high, low, low, high, high, da, 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 da. This little line here, it's fun, it's pretty chromatic. It's this 4, 3, 2. That's going to be triplets, that each one of these little groupings of 3 is on its own set of strings, which is nice. And each one has to fit over a beat. So 4, 3, 2, 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. As far as how I'm going to finger that, let me show you. It's probably hard to see in my little zoom window here. Stop share. Stop share. Sorry, my computer is not liking running all of these programs, and screen share and an audio share and Zoom. So I think my computer might blow up. I think it did blow up. Okay. Hey, there we are. Sorry, I just like got a lot of windows running here that I should probably get out of something. Give me a second, Kate. Sorry. That's probably better. Yeah. All right. So fingering wise, a couple of different ways that you could do it. One could make an argument that you could just kind of like stay in a position where you could go like 4, 3, 2, and then cross over 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to kind of do it thinking about it as being in 2 positions. I'm going to do the first grouping, and then I'm going to shift over with my second finger. So 2, 1, 0, and then 2, 1, 0. So I'm catching this. So there's this funky little squeeze shift we got to do. So I would isolate that. That's going to be the trickiest part, is to get from from that two there to this two here with a different finger. I would be careful. I certainly wouldn't do this, though it could be tempting, where I'm kind of like shifting on that pointer finger. Don't. So what's happening when we enter that riff, go back to sharing my guitar profile and hopefully my computer doesn't explode. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 open. So we have dut, 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 dut. So it starts, you kind of hear this open string happening on the upbeat of 1, and then a triplet on beat 2, a triplet on beat 3, and a triplet on beat 4. Again, I'm going to share the guitar profile with you so you can just kind of listen to it. I did the best I could to be rhythmically accurate. So you'd have it, yeah, it's not going to work. X, 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 oh. Okay, that's what's going on there. Then we're pretty much going back to the second verse. D, C, al coda is saying, DC means da capo, which means from the top. I'm pretty sure it goes to this measure if we're being technical. And then it has that little fill, the exact same fill again. And it goes into verse 2, which is this is going to be the same. You're going to do this 4 times. And then we have a little extra measure of some palm muted E's. And then we're right back into chorus 2 is going to begin right here. And then when we get, now when it says Dakota, we're going to leap from Dakota to the end of chorus 2, where it's pretty much doing the same chord progression, but it steals from that second measure of B, and it just inserts that little riff again. So coming out of the second chorus, it's pretty much doing the chord progression twice. And then we're going to go the second time through. It's C2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, A2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, B2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to take us into the bridge. To my ear, the bridge is just octaves. And it's hard to tell if it's like one person doing octaves or if it's 2 guitars layered. Don't worry about the octave. The higher note is really not that important. Make sure you're just kind of hitting the low note to this rhythm, and I notated it as accurately as I could. It's ba ba da ba da da da. Right, so that's the first time I notated. There's no repeat sign there. Let me get rid of that repeat sign. Bow, ba da, ba da 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 da, bow, ba da, ba da 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 da, bow. Here I notated the exact same thing again, but I'm adding in some of these little X's. And I kind of hear the guitar doing that sometimes. All that's happening at this point is a constant down and up strumming, and this is just keeping time. So I did the best I could to kind of notate this. I would probably just hit that as open E, not worry about this as a chord, but like if you're comfortable doing octave chords, do that. If you're not, don't, just hit the big E. So I'm gonna hit that on a downstroke, this on an upstroke, that on a down, that on an up, that on a down, that on an up, that on a down, that on an up. I think it kind of, I did the best I could to notate the X's to kind of show you like, well, this is the skinnier strings because I'm coming on an upstroke. And this is some thicker strings because I'm going back down. So you'd have like, let me get that out of the way. I'm not hearing them in measure 2 and 4. I don't hear it like really doing that. I think it really lets that note just hang. Then you're gonna do that 2 more times while she's singing over top. Then we're coming out into a more subdued chorus for the first 4 measures where it's just probably hanging on a power chord. And then you hear the drums kick back in halfway through that chord progression, and it kind of finishes it out doing quarter notes again. And then we're gonna do it 2 more times, and then we have that ending from before, Three times. And there you have it. Hopefully that makes sense. My apologies for my computer kind of like getting all wonked out on you. Let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy.